Hello, welcome Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're all well and you've enjoyed the first day of your weekend. I certainly have. Thanks for asking. Now, let's get straight on with the price action analysis and checking in on the weekly from CME yesterday. So I was talking about the weekly closure that was imminent in yesterday's video, and CME did indeed close basically at 64,250. So if I switch back over to Bybit, you can see that's right on the middle of the range, and the range that I personally have put on the chart is from the current all-time high to the current wick low following within this consolidation period. So that's kind of like a Simon-defined range. Excuse me. Other people might take the top of the ranges here now, but I'm just keeping it as it is. And there are no rights and wrongs, but I try to do things in a logical manner. So yeah, that's the weekly time frame. The daily hasn't changed much. As you can see, this tiny little green candle here, which just reflects a low volatility day, and a lot of the time that does happen over the weekend, although sometimes Bitcoin does surprising things on the weekend. So you can see there's not been a great deal of price action change from yesterday. However, nothing has changed with regards to the trend. It's still absolutely to the downside on time frames lower than a week. And it's around the midpoint of the range following this trend line. So to get a bit of because there hasn't been much volatility today, I'm going to come right down to the 4 hour, which demonstrates nicely the downtrend, right? So you can see a sequence of lower highs and also a sequence of lower lows. And that will indeed remain the case until Bitcoin, for continuation of that trend. Obviously Bitcoin needs to get below 63,350 on Bybit. That'll be different on other exchanges. And conversely, to have the etchings of a change in downtrend, if Bitcoin can close at least a few 4 hour candles back above 66, just call it 66.5, then that would start to make you think, okay, it's no longer the same trend, i.e. something like this. So let's say Bitcoin just does this over the weekend. Oh, that's into Tuesday already. So ignore the time frames, but then does this. That would make you start to think, ooh, hello, something could be afoot here. But it wouldn't be a change in character, as in from a downtrend to an uptrend, until it did that. So clearly then having a higher low relative to these lows, and then once the price action got back above this high, you would have higher highs and higher lows, so a change in trend. So yeah, none of that has happened yet. But that would certainly paint a different picture. If indeed Bitcoin does carry on to the downside, the next move may be a bit larger, a bit more impulsive. So you can see from this sort of collection of price action, I don't really know how to describe it in better words really, but these two highs here, and then all this sort of congregation of price action below that were impulsive moves down to roughly 61 and then about 60,000. So I think if Bitcoin definitely closes a daily below these current wicks, then there's probably a swiftish move down another couple of $1,000. And that's where personally I foresee, as I alluded to a couple of videos ago, hopefully a weekly higher low. So turning back from that area and starting an uptrend on low time frames, which will then bleed into the higher time frames and end up with a weekly low down here somewhere. So that's all in the future, and no one can predict the future, no matter what people tell you. So that's just me guessing. Now, just for a bit of a laugh, I've jumped down to a 15-minute time frame, so you can see, that's as far as I can zoom out on my screen, but you can see this was the 4-hour downtrend I was referring to with the sequence of lower highs and lower lows. And you can just see how little volatility there has been since I recorded my video around here yesterday. So there's been very little price action, and in the last hours it's basically been sideways, almost, to the dollar, much like this area here, which then preceded another impulsive move down, almost complete bounce, and then a trending move down. So within the direction of the trend. And I wonder if something similar might happen here. So it'll be very, very sort of sideways price action over the weekend, and then maybe into Monday another move down, which would mean that next week would open sort of on a negative note, if you like. Whether or not it closed on a negative note, only time will tell. Yes, I would like to see Bitcoin's momentum reverse at some point between about 60,000 and probably 62, something like that. And I can quickly check in on the momentum by referencing my favorite momentum indicator, although that's rather controversial because most traders don't use it as a momentum indicator, I don't think. Certainly not in my echo chambers, although maybe my echo chambers are quite small. But if I just put, oops, I think I just accidentally paused the video. Don't worry, what I'll do is we'll just have a look at the MACD as it is. I wanted to get rid of the SMA, but I'm not going to bother. And you can see that it is still, the MACD is still gaining. It is still moving to the upside. So compared to the low here, which was when the price was here, and the price has moved down significantly, the MACD hasn't. And it's on the 4-hour time frame. So there's a degree of divergence, and when you get a degree of divergence, that means that there's still momentum to the downside because this is below the zero line. So in my eyes, there's momentum to the downside, but that momentum is waning. But it's still there until the MACD crosses above the zero line. Remember, that's just my sort of predefined momentum pivot. You probably won't even see that written on Investopedia or anywhere in TradingView. Why do I look like I've just gone black and white all of a sudden? Don't know, that's pretty strange. The daily's MACD is just below, but there's no obvious divergence on the daily, and the weekly is still very much to the upside. So yeah, I think I'm going to draw a halt to it there. In summary, more downside once Bitcoin closes a few 4 hours below 63, call it 300. If indeed it was to close daily below there, I'd expect probably a significant move down to at least sort of 62,000. And then that's a slight danger zone because it's getting towards the vicinity of where you would like to see a weekly higher low. So, if it doesn't do that, then it paints a bit of a different picture. But at the moment, and I went through this a few videos ago, you can see that on the weekly time frame, there have been no lower lows. There have been some sort of equivalent lows, but no lower lows. And so you wouldn't really want to see a lower low, which is why I'm suggesting that that's probably less likely, and what's more likely is a higher low. And the logical place for that to occur, in my opinion, is around here somewhere. So in the areas I just pointed out. Okay, there we go. That's 10 minutes of me wittering on. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And if you haven't, then don't come back tomorrow, because I'll be doing it for Sunday, which it'll be close to the weekly closure of Bybit. Okay, take care. Enjoy what's left of your Saturday evening. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.